Hello, nerds, and welcome to the Engadget Podcast. I am your host, Terrence O'Brien. This is episode 27, American Tune. I am joined this week by Sherlyn Lowe.
Hi.
Hi. What's with the face?
Just because I don't like the title.
You don't like the title? You don't like Simon and Garfunkel?
I prefer Billy Joel.
We had this discussion beforehand. There will be no titling of episodes after Billy Joel songs. Sorry.
I don't understand why, but okay.
Also joining me this week is Dana Woolman.
Hello.
Hello.
My brother is essentially having a Billy Joel wedding, by the way. So you can come. Terrence can't come.
Yeah, he should.
We'll party
not.
together.
Yeah,
Wait,
let's do that.
what is a Billy Joel wedding?
Well, you don't get to find out.
I just need to have this concept explained to me.
The fact that you don't know what it means you can't go.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right, fine. I'm so confused right now. So yeah, that's a great way to start the show, just with utter confusion. Let's go right into it though, guys. Let's not waste any time. Let's go straight to Flame Wars. Start the same way we do every week. This is where we debate sort of the biggest stories of the week. Make your opening statement. You get 20 seconds. If you go overtime, I give you one of these. My favorite thing in the world.
If you go overtime, we'll give you Billy Joel.
Oh yeah.
Fair enough.
I like
Yeah.
that.
At the end of it, I will declare a winner. There's points there. We still don't have the leaderboard up. That's because
Oh
I'm
my
failing at my
gosh.
job.
Why
But we
are
will
you
do that.
still
We will fix
hired?
that. I promise soon. But let's start with the. So this is. I'm not gonna lie. This is a story I'm not super up on. This was something that Sherlyn brought to my attention. The OnePlus 3T, which I gather is a smartphone.
Good for you. Good first step.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's almost as if he reads this site called
yeah,
Engadget.
sometimes. Yeah.
Once in a while, I check it out.
or
you know.
curious
Yeah.
about the brands.
Yeah. So the OnePlus 3T is a smartphone that apparently was is artificially boosting its processor clock speeds during benchmark tests. So the question here, I guess, is OnePlus cheating? Is this a dishonest way to go about benchmarking? Or is this sort of an acceptable way to measure performance, considering that, modern processors get boosted for specific applications anyway? I'm putting up our 20 seconds, and Dana, you go first.
I mean, yeah, technically it's cheating, but everyone does it, really. I mean, Samsung and HTC have already been called out for similar kinds of manipulations. And ultimately, I guess what I'm arguing is this sort of practice is standard, and that's why reviews in general should not be founded so much on benchmarks anyway.
Fair enough. Your response, Sherlyn?
So because everyone else is doing it, to Dana's point, even if it is considered kind of unethical, it levels the playing field a little bit and gives you a more accurate idea of where they're standing. Plus, no one really uses benchmarks outside of reviewers anyway, so it's not affecting the daily performance. that
I feel like what
much.
we're debating is like performance-enhancing drugs for athletes, except we're talking about something of much less consequence, which
Ethically.
is imperceptible performance differences
Yeah.
in smartphones.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like you both just made literally the same exact argument.
which is my argument. I think. I mean, Dana was saying technically it is cheating, and I'm saying it's not just because the playing field. It's like a bell curve.
I guess I'm saying it's cheating, but it's not news.
Okay. And I'm saying it's not cheating because if everyone else is doing it, it's like grading on a bell curve.
So you think it's cheating and it doesn't matter. You don't think it's cheating and it still doesn't matter. That's literally the argument we're having
Basically,
right now.
it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Which, yeah. But to Dana's point, it basically means that reviewers have to be a lot more careful
Yeah.
when testing a phone, and something that we...
I mean, yeah, it's all. I mean, it's like a pissing contest. Am I allowed to say that?
You can
on
say
air?
whatever you
It is a
want.
pissing contest. It's a fight over small differences in numbers, but the actual real world performance difference is pretty imperceptible. And we're
Yeah.
talking about high end phones across the board, many of which use the same processors and maybe the same amount of RAM. So what are we talking about, and why is that what we're focusing on, and why is this news? You know?
So Samsung's been caught before, as you said. Do they still do that though, or is that something that they've done in the past but have stopped? Like that practice has ended over there.
It's hard to say. They have said that they will stop, but
I think too occasional swapping in of new trendy benchmarks and the retirement of older benchmarks sort of maybe creates new opportunities for gaming the system.
And I mean, the reason why it's news here also, I mean, OnePlus has such a huge fan base, and a lot of its,
Do
appeal. Yeah, OnePlus. Well, just because you're a plebeian, doesn't mean they don't have a huge.
I'm just trying to think of the last time I saw a OnePlus phone not at the Engadget office.
I've seen them out in the wild a lot, but that's because I hang out with cooler people than you do. So, but anyway, my point was that OnePlus actually came out, admitted that they did it, and they promised to not do it again.
That's the unusual part, isn't it?
Yeah, it's strange for them to just admit they did it anyway.
Well, Samsung
why?
copped to it, didn't they? They admitted it when they did it, and that was
I think it took longer for them to own
that
up
was
to it.
2014.
Yeah.
So
That was more of a scandal back then too, because was that the first time they were using their own Exynos chip versus a Qualcomm? That might have been
question.
because that
I
might have
can
been
look.
the reason. But anyway, I mean,
I would be more offended, I think, if phone makers misled people about battery life.
yeah,
Especially like a phone like the 3T, I think we praised it for having long
Yes.
battery life. So if it turned out that long battery life was really not that long in real world use,
Yeah.
I'd be kind of pissed. But if you're saying it deserves a slightly lower score on a performance benchmark, who cares?
yeah, and it's like you said, imperceptible.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
and nobody
yeah.
cares about benchmarks.
Well, I do, but
Do you?
it's vaguely.
What benchmarks do we still run on phones?
We use, I guess, some outdated ones. SunSpider.
I believe 3D Mark is one
We
of them.
3D Mark is a graphics test that we use. We don't use Geekbench. We use Andy and 3E Andy Bench, and a bunch of others. You don't even know what these mean, so why do you
Mostly we
ask?
just use the products.
I
Yeah.
haven't written a smartphone review in like 3 years.
Yeah.
So I don't
And that's
know
why this
anymore.
doesn't make sense to you.
Yeah, this
maybe.
I don't care.
But yeah, but regardless, I think the news point of it again is to remind us once again as reviewers how important it is to do your real world testing.
I literally feel like I could just flip a coin for whoever wins this, and that's literally what I'm going to do.
Considering I'm going to lose the next two, I feel like this
Dana
one
is heads, Sherlyn is tails, and tails.
Yay!
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm not going to completely lose this one. So, okay, there we go.
Awesome.
Yay.
I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, I'm glad I flipped that coin well.
I also enjoy that I can just Google flip a coin and it does all the
have
work
one,
for me.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the ACLU and Y Combinator. You don't look excited about this.
I'm not excited about Flame Wars today.
No, just
Every day.
Just every day.
Yeah.
So this past weekend, the ACLU raised $24 million. That's more than they generally raise in a year.
Yeah.
In a single weekend.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy. Like it's a stunning amount of money. And to cope with this, they for some reason turned to Y Combinator as a way to help them manage all of this cash. Sherlyn, you're gonna try and tell me why this partnership makes sense.
Y Combinator is a very successful venture capital company that is founded in a lot of tech startups or has helped a lot of tech startups grow. And for ACLU to join their school, this is also one of the open available outlets for them to go turn to for help that has track record. So that's it. I'm not all
Dana?
here today.
First of all, Y Combinator is an inappropriate choice because Y Combinator has not severed ties with funder Peter Thiel, who of course has strong ties to the Trump administration.
Which is the very reason that the ACLU has money in the first
Yes,
place.
but also, how can you be one of the largest and oldest nonprofits in this country and not be good at managing funds?
Oh, the ACLU?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
boy, yeah. They
Well-
don't have because they're just not used to having this much funds.
Well,
I think.
Do they not have people on their large staff who can advise on how to budget and spend money? Why do they need outside help if you're that big and old and experienced of an organization?
So what I thought was kind of interesting, though, is that they turned to Y Combinator. Not that the ACLU doesn't have people who can do this in-house necessarily, but there are other nonprofits who do exactly this sort of thing. So I found it weird that they would turn to Y Combinator as, like, being that they're an accelerator and, a venture capital firm and whatever else, rather than turning to other nonprofits whose sole job is to manage money for these kind of.
So some of the reasoning behind it, at least according to our article, is that Y Combinator, this will provide ACLU access to a lot of Y Combinator's network contacts and sources. So if ACLU needed more help, and again, a lot of the money that they got over the weekend was from the immigration ban, and a huge opponent of that ban has been the tech industry. So I mean, this kind of lends ACLU the chance to get more money, because Y Combinator obviously knows where to get money from. So this might be that to me seems like at least kind of a parallel course. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? It's early in the morning.
It is early in the morning.
But I get what you're saying. That would suggest that ACLU's main focus going forward is to get even more money, when
True.
the stated purpose, I think, was to figure out how to invest and spend that money.
I almost think that it's also to align itself with the big tech giants that would have the power to take down something like the immigration ban and more proposed executive orders.
My instinct would say, if you're as big of an organization as the ACLU, that got so much attention this past weekend and was able to get so much money in the first place, wouldn't you have a direct line to someone like Tim Cook or the CEO of any other big tech company? Would you even need Y Combinator as a middleman?
I feel like you would think they would have those direct connections, but I don't know. I mean, my idea of ACLU in the past wasn't that it's a big and old and established. I know it's old and has a long history, but from the emails I've been receiving over the past 2 years that I've been like a vague paying member of ACLU, the need and the thirst that comes across from these emails signals to me that they need more help than they've let on.
Well, I mean, any nonprofit, any
Is going to be
charity
kind.
is going to be like that. I mean, if you donate to the Sierra Club, you're going to get the same really desperate emails for money. If you accidentally signed up for Donald Trump's mailing list, you're going to get this. You're going to get this. No, that is not a thing I did on purpose.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
Terrence.
I emailed the campaign asking for comment on the story
And
once,
they put
and
you
they put
on
me
the-
on their mailing list for donations.
Did they at least give you comment?
No. I just started receiving solicitations for donations.
Okay,
That's
I
a
get
thing
the
that
point.
happened.
I mean, Dana is right. They should probably have some kind of connections.
I get what Y Combinator gets out of it. I think that they, this is my theory, I'm not going based on any quotes that have been printed in the press, but
Why you got to be fake news, Dana?
I'm fake news. They must know, right, that Peter Thiel is odious, and they must feel somewhat embarrassed by that connection. And having this partnership with the ACLU might help restore Y Combinator's reputation, or what they'd like for it to be its reputation as, if not a more progressive organization, a not fascist one.
Fair enough.
Right?
I mean,
So
there's-
I kind of see what they get out of it.
yeah.
I don't get what the ACLU gets out of it, though.
I mean, again, maybe the tech connections and the chance to, again, this is a company, a venture capital company that has proven it's able to make a lot of money, make the right investments. So probably that kind of a know-how, but there are other sources. You guys are
Like
right.
banks.
I think there's a lot more insidious choices out there than Y Combinator. I don't know.
No, I mean, I don't think the choice is I don't think there's anything insidious about Y Combinator or anything. It's just an odd decision. That's just, to me, it just strikes me as strange more than anything else.
I think it's progressive.
Progressive. I'm going to give this one to Dana.
Sure, I expected that.
Yeah.
It's okay. This
It's
is
all right.
that kind of a week. It's fine.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're split 1-1 right now.
Yeah. Well, I know what the result's gonna be, so it's fine.
Let's end Flame Wars, though,
Oof, yeah.
with Adoptly.
F those guys.
So, Adoptly, for those who don't know, was a Kickstarter campaign for an app that was basically Tinder for babies. It offered you a selection of profiles for children who were up for adoption, and you could swipe right or left on them to decide.
And being a Kickstarter, you could donate real money to them.
Yeah. So, turns out, all a hoax, guys. It was a big joke.
Hooray,
It was an art project. It was an art project.
Satire.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. That's what it was.
Yeah.
God, how to even phrase this question? So, Dana, is this legitimately art, or is this simply an evil scheme?
I think it was definitely mean-spirited. I think that, I think for me the line was that they accepted real people's money, and that when reporters attempted to confront them about possibly being fake, they lied. So I think that they could have accomplished satire, satirizing the sort of tone-deaf tech industry without taking real parents' money and without lying to the press.
In Just Under the Wire. Fill in.
Well, so based on the email that the people behind Adoptly sent to Nate Ingram, they actually didn't think anyone would buy it in the beginning. So they don't think they had intention to take money for real and to make
That's what they
people
say.
sad. That's what they said. But art-wise, it's freedom of expression. I don't want to argue for them.
You don't have to.
I
we
don't
can
really
we
want
can we
to.
can all just
I tried.
we can all just agree that it's a terrible thing. Everybody wins except Adoptly.
But I kind of want to explain a little bit after reading the email, the long email
Well,
that they sent.
Okay,
Long email which took no responsibility.
Yeah, they didn't. Yeah.
So before you do read the email, I do want to
ahead.
say one thing, which is that even if they didn't think people were going to give them money and pay for this stupid thing, why would you start a Kickstarter? Why go to
So
put
here,
together
there's a lot
together a
of yeah.
fucking website, like
Yeah.
a joke app, and call it a day.
And if the intention was supposedly not to deceive people, because if they thought it was so ridiculous people wouldn't be deceived, why would you lie when people
ask you if it
Yeah.
was. Yeah.
So that's why I think this goes beyond just satire. I think that this was a mean-spirited joke, and it was crappy of them to pawn off any responsibility when called on it.
So to explain a little bit, what they say was the reason they went to Kickstarter instead of anything else, they go, we decided to launch it on Kickstarter rather than frame it as a company that was already funded or in beta as a way to add a tinge more believability that this was a group of naive entrepreneurs launching a misguided startup. It seemed to work. So because it's a Kickstarter, you're more likely to believe that it's a real thing.
I mean, here's the thing.
That people
is
dumb enough to start a Kickstarter project, came up with.
I could see it being a real thing without the need for a Kickstarter campaign. Like, there are so many dumb, misguided products out there. I don't need your Kickstarter to convince me. You could have just released it and I would have been like, yeah, that seems like a dumb thing that somebody would do.
Yeah. I mean, also the fact that they were on Kickstarter didn't stop a lot of us from calling it a hoax or fake, right?
I mean, we were all pretty suspicious of it from
Yeah.
moment one.
Yeah.
But they
and
steadfastly claimed that it was a real thing
Yeah.
for the first couple of weeks.
and kind of the way they framed the email to Nate was, we liked how you handled things, and so we've decided to share the real story behind Adoptly with you below, and that to me was where the mean-spirited gotcha.
Right, there's
That's-
there's no sorry we lied to you, sorry that we wasted your time,
Right.
sorry that we deceived anybody.
Yeah.
It's no, I mean it's that email and that tone that I
Yeah.
think is really terrible.
It's
They had a lot of it's a really long email. One section of it was on the reactions to the project, and they're like, yeah, a lot of people hated us, but some people actually gave us positive reaction, saying many people encouraged us to keep pushing for modernizing the process of adoption despite criticisms of the interface itself in order to find better solutions. So they're saying that even people within the adoption community who actually saw it as beneficial told them to keep looking into something similar, but not a swipe style UI. So I don't know. It stinks.
Well, and how did they make the world a better place? And
They didn't.
So they
No.
they lampooned what they think the tech industry is, but what did they really accomplish other than pissing us off? What did they accomplish? What point did they make, and how did they make the world a better place through that?
I mean, unless because of this, people are going to stop making swipe interface.
Did they
things
make me
for-
think about how terrible the tech industry is, or did they make me think about what assholes they are?
The
I mean,
latter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought about both. I mean, I do think that there's a lot of.
I didn't need them to make me think that
Right,
the
that's
tech
true.
industry is terrible, though. Like, it's not like they were shining a light on something that we didn't recognize or didn't all know. Like, if you pay at all attention to we have Silicon Valley. Like, have you seen Silicon Valley? It does everything you're claiming to try and do, but better.
I also feel in this climate and with everything that's going on,
Yeah.
how can you delight in creating what you know to be fake news and then lying when people ask critical questions? This
Yeah.
is not the time of there. I mean, I don't think fake news has ever been helpful, but really, this is not the time to make that your hobby.
Yeah.
Creating and disseminating fake news. Find a more useful, productive job.
Can we ban the phrase fake news, by the way?
But this was fake news.
Yeah, no, I mean, I get it.
I would love to stop hearing it.
It is one of those things. I'm just like, at this point, it's a phrase.
It's
that
like when
just,
Internet of Things started
Twitch
coming up.
makes me twitch.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
it's in the same thing.
But I mean, just to wrap it up, I think I agree with Dana that if it is the timing of it and the intention and the denying of the fact when we did our jobs as reporters to ask you and verify the facts if it was true, short of really digging into your company documents, the fact that they said no and lied, that's where it crossed the line for me. So even though I don't want to lose a point, I would not disagree if you gave the point to Dana.
Yeah. Also, I mean, it's just abundantly clear that these are two people, the guys behind this, who just have like no sense of humor. Well, I shouldn't say that. They have a terrible sense of humor. I mean, their previous project was Pooper, which was supposed to be Uber for dog shit. That's how it marketed itself.
Yep.
Like, it's not funny. It's not satire. It's just dumb.
Gross.
Yeah.
I would love to see them turn their energy or attention on something more productive. I feel like they would be able to do something more useful.
I would
Maybe.
prefer they
Hopes.
just disappear.
I like to have hope in humanity. I know it doesn't seem that way sometimes.
What's that? They remind me of those guys. What's that Judd Apatow movie, Knocked Up, where all the Seth Rogen's stone dude bro friends are trying to make this website that just shows the nude scenes in movies? Yeah, these are like his like stone loser dude bro friends.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. No, that's an insult to actual stone people. I know lots of lovely stone people.
Yeah.
But no, these are just useless dude bros.
Yeah. No, it's terrible.
I think we know the answer to this.
No, nobody gets a point.
Nobody wins. Oh yay, so it's a tie.
It's a tie.
Yay.
Yay.